There are three things that are guaranteed for the MLB postseason. Number one, the Phillies will choke, especially if they play the Mets. Number two, the Yankees will catch every break imaginable as the baseball gods continue to smile upon that franchise. And it especially holds true in October. Number three, Number three, take this to the bank. The Mets will be the streakiest team from now until the end of the year. They live and die by the home run, as we'll get into. But welcome to the Breaking Balls channel. I'm Joe. We're going to talk some baseball playoffs today. We'll talk about the AI simulations that I did to predict the outcome of this regular season. And then as it gets closer, we'll start predicting the playoffs once we know the matchups. So, like I said, welcome. If you wouldn't mind subscribing down below, happy to have you. And enjoy this one if you're a baseball fan, especially if your team is still in it. If the regular season were to end right now, this is what it would look like. And it hasn't changed much since I did the video like a week ago where I simulated the American League um, regular season and came up with the playoff brackets. Seattle has since improved their position. They were below 50% to make it to the postseason. Now they're doing well. I haven't simulated in a couple days, so I don't want to throw the numbers out there. But the National League, I did a simulation today. The data was good through last night, and actually did 100 simulations. And I have the Mets taking that sixth seed about 66% chance. But that doesn't tell the whole story. We have to get into the wild card races. And here it is. We'll start with National League. Brewers had a great season. Phillies did have a great regular season. They got hot when it counted. They put the Mets to bed a couple weeks ago. Dodgers actually underachieving as far as I'm concerned, but we're not worried about them. Let's talk about the wild cards. The Cubs pretty much have nothing to play for. The Padres lost today to the Mets. So their chances of overtaking LA as the leaders of the West are pretty slim. I didn't even run that simulation. But for the wild card, yeah, Mets about 66% to stay right where they are. Arizona, the last time I ran this simulation, Arizona was only 6% to overtake the Mets. And that's because the Reds and the Giants are only a half a game behind them. And Arizona has just a horrific schedule. They play the Dodgers, the Phillies, they play the Giants, I believe, and they play another playoff team. I think it's the Cubs. So Arizona has a really rough schedule. They were selling at the trade deadline. Uh, they're lucky to be where they are. Very slim chance, under 10% according to my simulations. So if you're a Diamondbacks fan, I mean, you're going to be on the edge of your seat probably till the last day, unless the Mets just get done up in the next 9 games. But let's talk about the Mets. Let's talk about the Mets. They did great turning their season around. They're on an 8 game or 7 game losing streak. Sunday comes along. They get a walk-off homer in extra innings. And then they proceed to take 2 of 3 from San Diego, who I think, records aside, San Diego is the scariest team in the National League for the Met fans. Let's recap that series. We'll have some fun here, but here it is. Law of averages is the theme for this video. Law of averages, because the Mets live and die by the home run. When they're not hitting home runs, they just can't win. When they are hitting home runs, they tend to clobber teams to death. And today, um, Alonso, Nimmo, homered. Mets had a rookie pitcher, uh, Jonah Tong, held the Padres to just 1 run. Can't really say much about Brandon Nimmo. They moved this guy all over the lineup, up and down. And it was like in the first 2 months, he only had 1 good game. He had like 8 RBIs in a single game, but this guy had the numbers are there. Alonso, by the way, 120 RBIs. The Met fans did not want to sign Alonso. The Met fans on Twitter did not want to give Alonso his money. Here's the rookie Tong. Pitched great, 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, no walks, only gave up 1 run. We could live with that all day. This guy might not even crack the rotation in the playoffs. He'll be a weapon out of the bullpen. He needed this. He dominated a great lineup, and Padres Padres ran themselves into a bunch of outs this week. May have cost them a game. May have cost them a couple runs. May have kept the Mets in yesterday's game a little longer than they should have been. But 2 of 3 from the Padres, who I think are the best team. They just play with a swagger like they've already won. And here's the other night. Last night, really whacked the play. I mean, for me, that's not a home run, but it was a home run. So they had this guy on second. I'm sorry, this guy ended up getting a home run. It's Alvarez, catcher, who I'm falling out of love with as this season wears on. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it's got to leave the yard. Maybe it hit something behind. Really weird play. Alvarez is like a hype master. If he gets hot, man, this guy can charge the lineup. And here's old man Marte, classic swing, just a blast. That must have felt good. Marte kind of lost a lot of at bats this year. Lost a lot of at bats in the outfield. He's not really as mobile as he used to be. Still got that nice swing when he gets his pitch, though, doesn't he? But this was um, this was last night. Mets fought back, by the way, and this is the big plus to take. The loss yesterday. The loss yesterday. What was it? 8-5, 7-4, something like that. Was not a bad loss. It was a playoff game, and the Padres played it like a playoff game. They went down early. The Mets went down early. They fought back and tried to fight back multiple times in the game. That's what you need to do if you expect to advance in the playoffs. And here's another Alonso blast. Alonso has 4 home runs in 4 games. I'm telling you, they're getting hot at the right time. All that matters is how you finish. And David Peterson, man, he served up a grand slam here. David Peterson was great for the Mets last year. He really kind of came into his own. He was an absolute weapon in the postseason last year. They moved him from the starting rotation to the bullpen. Peterson was great. He was great in the beginning of this year, going through a rough stretch. I'm not willing to put him in the bullpen yet. I'm not piggybacking David Peterson. I hate that, by the way. Here's our guy. Absolute blast. Absolute blast. Juan Soto is having an absolute colossal year. You're looking at the MVP. I don't care if you're a Phillies fan and you love Schwarber, you're looking at the MVP. This guy turns it on when it counts. I can't wait to see this guy in the postseason. Fingers crossed for the Met fans. He's a beast. Um, what else? Rookies carried the Mets through August. We need the rookies to help the Mets finish strong. I'm talking specifically Tang, who you just saw. I'm talking McLean and Sproat. Let's ride these guys. Let's conserve the bullpen. By the last week of the season, we should know who's coming in the game in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings for the Mets. For the whole season, we didn't know. We didn't know. Um, Clay Holmes. So here's the piggybacking. The piggyback. Clay Holmes is a relief pitcher. The Mets converted him into a starter, and the guy just ran out of gas. He was great at the beginning of the year. April, May into June, I loved watching this guy pitch. Just ran out of gas. It's not his fault. He's been mismanaged by the organization. I hope it's not any long-term damage on his arm. I hope it's just fatigue. But this guy's career high for innings was like 60. So now he's only pitching 4 innings. They bring in Manaea here, who actually closes the game out from the 5th inning on. He pitched really good. This is a huge plus. Everything about this series, even the loss for the Mets, must be a huge lift for the guys in the dugout, the guys in the front office. The Mets need Manaea to pitch because it looks like Senga is just not going to be there. If Manaea can pitch well, like he did the end of last year, you're going to have to piece together one game. But I keep David Peterson in the rotation, and Nolan McLean for me is my number 2. He's my number 2. Maybe my number 1 if you want to line up Manaea for game 2, game 5, or game 2, game 6, whatever the strategy is. But these pitchers, man, they're just getting hurt left and right. Law of averages. Law of averages. Mets live and die by the home run. They hit all the home runs this week when it counted. They scored a lot of runs against the Padres, which was great. But there's another law of averages that we have to talk about. The Mets are like 0 and 65 when they're trailing after 8. That means no team has blown a save against the Mets. The Mets have not had a ninth inning comeback all season when it seemed like last year that's all they did. Law of averages. Eventually that's going to turn. And the Mets are going to blow up somebody's bullpen, and it's going to be beautiful if you're a Met fan. If you're a Met fan. So anyway, let's close with that. Let's close with that. The Mets are going to, just law of averages, they're going to blow up somebody's closer probably multiple times in the same series. Will it be in the regular season? That would be a huge lift for them heading into October. Or will it be in the postseason? Face off against the Phillies, face off against the Dodgers. Opposing closers have not blown a save the whole year against the Mets. The Mets have gone quietly in the ninth every time they're down, but I think law of averages will play out. They will blow up somebody's closer and maybe in back-to-back games. And that's why I said all that matters is how hot you are getting into the playoffs. Kind of doesn't matter where you start, matters where you finish. If the Mets get in, I would not want to play them in the first round if I'm the Dodgers or Phillies. That's all.